Good morning and welcome to Thursday. I looked at Psalm 77 today, and in verse 11 it says, I will remember God's deeds. Yes, I will remember God's wondrous acts from times long past, which makes you start thinking about God's wonderful deeds in the past and realize today is the 27th. It was 27 years ago today that I first climbed the ladder that takes you to the very tippy top open air space of this steeple at Archwood UCC in Cleveland. 85 feet in the air, open air, and I would spend 24 hours at a time as a hostage, inviting the whole city to come by with food to fill up these steps for the Brookside Hunger Center, which our church helped us start. That That's some of the most memorable times in my life, of course, sleeping outside overnight in that steeple, while down below our members were welcoming people who drove by with food. Our first year doing it, I was absolutely shocked when every news station in the city came to cover it, not just once, but multiple times. When we went up at the live shot at 10 p.m., which is when Wilma Smith asked me, so how do you go to the bathroom up there? And had to explain that I brought a urinal with me. And Eileen McShay was a young woman, a reporter, wore tall heels and climbed up that same ladder. So I realized that my attempts to climb up and down that ladder, I'd never tried to do it in heels. That was truly a memorable time. And in the 14 years we did that, we raised 50 to 60,000 pounds of food and thousands of dollars by people all around the city who drove by. Again, I remember the first year, in the middle of the night, it aired on the news at 10 p.m. and this guy came by in a rickety old van and pulled out cases of food and said that he had once needed it and it was his turn now to provide it. Those kind of stories happened throughout. We had a 24-hour prayer vigil in the sanctuary during the whole time. It was a really an amazing God's deed kind of thing, wondrous deeds. But the most important thing about the steeple vigil, as we called it every year, is that 20 years ago today, actually tomorrow, is when Art was a reporter from one of those TV stations covering the event. I will never forget that it was one of the rainiest and coldest weekends that we had had in our entire time. But Art, to get me to look at his camera, said, was it cold up there? And I did indeed look at his camera, sort of shivering. 20 years ago, when we first met, that was our only speaking to one another until another month or so later, when it just so happened that there was another event at the church, and he was working for Social Security too, and we had tables next to each other for the church and Social Security, and the rest is now 20 years of history. This morning I'm just remembering this 27 years since I first climbed that steeple, and I did want to show you just a couple of pictures. That's the ladder that takes you to the bell, and then you climb under the bell and on upward. Here's kids collecting money along with the food. There's the food piling up on the steps. And there's Virginia Daly, the great saint of the church. And this was given to me when I left Cleveland. And it finally says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And I pray you have a grateful day. Bye.